Welcome to Pages Lessons. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your support and learning more about my process of wanting to be a TEDx speaker. Every episode, I'm sharing my journey of the process, the steps, the strategies that I'm deciding to make, and decisions regarding how the hell do I get up there on the stage? How do I take this dream and manifest it into reality? And it's very vulnerable for me to do this because there's a big part. It's interesting, right? I have two sides. One side is I really don't care what anybody thinks about me because I know my heart, I know myself very, very well. And I have a lot of evidence that I've manifested things out of thin air. So there's a huge part of me that believes in myself and I really don't care what anybody thinks. And then there's this other side of me that by making this podcast, I am broadcasting out there to the globe, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I do. I mean, I do and I don't, right? I've never done a TED Talk before. So, of course, I'm a newbie. Of course, I have no idea how or when this is ever going to happen. But I figured making a podcast and walking you through my thoughts in real time is going to be the most vulnerable and valuable because I'm not sugarcoating anything here. I'm being really honest with I don't know, with the I don't knows. And I think there's like a lot of pride I need to just swallow right away, to be honest. I don't know when this will ever happen. Like, I might be making this podcast for like a year before I ever get accepted. And this dream really became I mean, you can listen to I think it's episode 2 where I get into my why I want to do a TED Talk, and you can hear the exact details of that story. But because I've been having this dream since a child essentially, I actually haven't taken steps and action until now, this year, 2025, like spring 2025, and we're already in summer. I have this really weird relationship with time. And also as a millennial, I'm very instant gratification. Like, why don't I have the thing yet? I said I want it and I want it now. Very impatient page is kind of the theme of my life. So regarding manifestation, which also, side note, if you want to check out, I have a whole season of my podcast dedicated towards manifestation where I'm interviewing different experts and friends about their manifestation strategies and stories, which is really fun to listen to. It's really a beautiful season to witness people in their manifestations. But anyway, I'm saying all of this because I am trying to manifest being on a TEDx stage. Not knowing the win is just really hard to grasp. It's unsettling. Like, I'm feeling very, like, annoyed with my own process. And I want to talk about in this episode, first, just to catch you up from the previous episode of my kind of accountability, my responsibilities that I wanted to commit to, my action steps. So, last episode, I talked about I made this kind of running playlist of other bucket list focused talks. And I took notes, and I have my notebook here of all of these talks. I think I watched over 10 videos of different people explaining about their versions of bucket lists and why it's important to them or what is their idea, and just to see how different it is than my idea. There were a few videos that just really stuck with me. There's this one that had to do with the environment and how we're picking our bucket list destinations based on the social media of how beautiful things look, but actually it's like killing the planet. So that was really interesting. And then there was another guy who talked about bucket lists, and he had this disease that the first thing he said was like, the doctors told me I was going to die 15 years ago and I'm still here. And essentially, it's about killing the bucket list, as in stop focusing on the things you want to do and just experience life now in the present. And also, you don't know what you want until you're living. And I thought that was a really unique perspective, right? Because we're kind of writing down, I think I want to travel to this country. I think I want to publish a book. I think I want to become a mother. All of these things that we're writing on our bucket list, how do we know we actually want them? And I thought that was a really beautiful perspective. So by taking notes of other talks and other speakers and just kind of listening and comparing based on my version was really insightful. It actually it didn't deter me. It didn't make me be like, "Oh, well, I'm a loser. This topic's already been done." It made me be like, "No, I do offer something a little different in mine. I do offer a different piece." And so I also talked about last episode, I've already created at the time, I made 2 drafts. Well, as of right now, I have 5 drafts. So I've made at least 5 different versions, but I'm on my final, like, 5th one right now, which I totally anticipate I'm gonna be changing 10 more times. I'm pretty excited for how this one is formatted. It feels a lot more storytelling. I'm still reading this book called TED Talks, the official TED Guide to Public Speaking by Chris Anderson, who's the head of TED. And my accountability is that I'm going to finish this book. I still have not finished, but I'm a few chapters in, and it's a really great guide. It's a really great structure of how to write a TED Talk. And I've already incorporated something in my 5th version of my speech, which is about the bio, talking about myself, introducing myself on stage, because the first time I wrote, "Hi, my name is Paige, and I'm gonna talk to you about bucket lists," very robotic, and then I gave kind of just a facts of, like, I lived in Colorado, I graduated with my master's, da da da, like, it was very just listy and a memoir kind of, and so this book, the author, Chris Anderson, he gave a really good version of, here's one way you can say your bio and your talk, and here's another way. And so what I did is, and I hope this stays, I mean, who knows by the time I actually get a TED Talk booked, who knows? But right now, what I have is I'm pretty proud of it. It's very like, picture this, and I'm taking you on a journey of Paige as a little girl and what she's feeling, what she's seeing, what she's experiencing. And it's like I feel like I'm really proud of like this hook I made. It feels very like in real time as a child, right? This is what little Paige is thinking and believing. So that hopefully I can kind of bookend the talk of wrapping it up of this little girl and having her dreams fulfilled. Honestly, I just wanted to be real here about this application process. I said last episode that I just looked at a few to get familiar with the questions and see what were the common denominators of, it looks like time after time, these applications are asking pretty much the same exact thing, just slightly worded differently. And I am right now, honestly, pretty paralyzed. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling confident. I think there's this like analysis paralysis going on because I feel like I don't know when is the quote appropriate time to apply. I don't feel like I have any guidance here. I am doing this also all alone. Like, I haven't hired any like coaches or mentors, someone that's already done it. Like, I haven't hired anyone for this help. I'm really just like figuring this out via newsletters, free blogs, podcasts, just like I'm gathering this free content in the internet of how to land a TED Talk, and I'm kind of just winging it. And this is uncharted territory for me, but I also now that I'm saying this out loud, this is kind of like on brand for Paige because that's what I did with my business. And it lasted 5 years, so that's cool, and I signed on clients, so I must have done something right. But I did end up eventually hiring coaches to help me. But in the beginning, it was 2020, and I literally YouTube University my business. I Googled and watched videos on how to start a business, and that's what I did. And then eventually, I hired people to help and signed on more and more and more clients, but it's kind of on brand for me to, like, wing it and figure it out on my own and see what lands. And maybe I will get to a point where I hire someone to help me, but I am just being honest, like, I feel really stuck right now in this, like, application process. So stuck that I asked my boyfriend for help, and I was like, "Can you please help me with this problem?" On one hand, if I don't apply right now, even though I'm not, like, 100% ready, like, my speech is nowhere near perfect, like, I still need to, like, hone in my through line, my, basically the hook. So even though on one hand, I just do not feel confident at all because the speech isn't, like, really amazing, but on the other hand, like, will it ever be perfect? No. So I feel just in this very stuck place. I feel in limbo with literally applying. 'Cause part of me is like, if I don't apply right now, then I'm going to, like, never apply. I'm going to miss my chance. I'm going to stay stuck and never end up actually going through with it, and I'm gonna chicken out, and that's the part of me that just doesn't, like, believe in myself, right? And then there's this other part of me that's like, well, they host hundreds of TEDx events a year, and so who cares? What if I just apply to them and then we'll see if I even get accepted or not. Like, who cares? And so I told my boyfriend this problem. I was like, "Can you just tell me what to do? Can you help me? Do I apply now or do I wait?" And he said that continue reading the book. Cause he's like, "Does the book say anything about applying?" And I was like, Hmm, I'm not seeing in the chapters. It's more about like that you've already landed the gig. Now here's how to prepare for the talk. So, but I agree with him. I think I need to completely finish the book to feel more confident about my speech. And then he said, well, what if you just apply to just one? Just apply, submit one application, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. There's hundreds out there. And he really made me realize I've been in a very lack mindset lately, and I'm putting so much pressure on myself. Ugh, I'm getting emotional. Because that's also on brand for me is this pressure that I put. And I know that it I need to really just step into more an abundance mindset. I I don't know why I get into this, like, limitation because I use the excuse that the application, for example, one of them wants me to apply by the end of July because the event is in September. It's like, if I know when the actual presentation, when the event will be, I will have a little bit more boundaries, I'll have a little bit more, like, structure and motivation because I'll actually have a date. But right now, everything's just, like, up in the air and it's unknown and it's so uncomfortable, and I'm just feeling really yeah, I'm feeling really lack. I'm feeling really lack right now of, like, if I don't do it now, then I'll never do it, and it's like that part some of that is true, really. But I like his idea, though, of just applying to just one application right now. And he's like, "Do it, sleep on it, see how you feel, and maybe they'll reply back, and if you don't get it, they may give you reasons. They may say like, 'Oh, we're looking for this type of person,' or 'Oh, we already booked a speaker,' or, maybe they give me advice. Who knows? It might just be a generic like, 'We regretfully blah, blah, blah.'" But he's like, "What if they actually gave you feedback and then that will help you submit the next one even better versus me submitting going wild and submitting like 30 at a time that are all like mid and shitty. So he has a really good point, and I'm going to try it out. So to wrap up here, I want to be held accountable before the next episode airs that I will apply to just one TEDx event. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to see how I feel, and that's the goal. Because I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to learn a lot from the process, and I'm going to sit with it. It's really getting out of my own way. It's getting out of my own head of the pressure I'm putting on myself, stepping more into an abundance mindset. And I hope when you listen to this episode, you know, whether you want to do a TEDx or not, Paige's lessons, right? Why I'm sharing this with you in documenting this is for you to think about your life, maybe where areas that you feel really stuck. Maybe there's a goal that you want to pursue, but you are also in limbo where you're like one foot in, one foot out. So you're not even moving, you're just stagnant. And like, my boyfriend also made the point too. He's like, Paige, it's only been a few months since you've like actually done anything about this goal that you've had since you were a kid. Like, calm down. It's only been a few months. There's no rush here. And so that was a really nice perspective to also think about is like, I feel very impatient. Why hasn't this happened already? But I think I want to relieve any stress with this podcast. I don't want to like disappoint myself, right? I don't want every single episode to be like, oh, well, didn't make any progress today. But you know what? That's fucking real life. Let's be real. We're going to make little wins and then sometimes we're going to be stagnant, and that's okay. And so maybe this is also just a reminder to be kinder to yourself with whatever you're trying to pursue, and that's okay. So I'm going to complete my book. I'm going to apply to one TEDx event, and I'm going to continue to draft and make different versions of my speech. And that is what I'm going to do. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, take care.